Hey, this is Dalton Smith from omodalton.com. Today I want to talk to you about EMAs and how to use them on a Forex chart. So right now I have the USD CAD pulled up on the 15-minute time frame. You can see I have my EMAs pulled up. So EMA stands for exponential moving average. I have 5 of them here. This is the 800 EMA. This is the 200 EMA. This guy here, the aqua, is the 50 EMA. The red is the 13 EMA and the yellow is the 5. So EMA is exponential moving average. 800 means the average of the last 800 candles would mean the candles were down here. The last 200 candles would be averaged out here, okay? And so on with the rest of them. So when EMAs are turned off, it's very hard to tell where the market is headed. You know, is it going up or down or sideways or what's going on? But when you turn on your EMAs, it gives it a little bit of structure. You can tell where the market is headed. Think of the 800 EMA as a long-term movement for the market. So the market is headed up and you think, will it go up forever? Maybe, but at some point it's going to turn, and when it does turn, it's going to come back down to the 800 EMA. So this is a long-term movement for the market that works on every time frame. The 200 is a midterm movement for the market. The 50 is a short-term move, okay? So let's take a closer peek. So long-term, the market is headed, we're gonna go from here. We're gonna go from here to here, okay? So we moved through the 800 and we moved away from the 800. And in the long term, where is the market headed? It's headed back to the 800. So we got this kind of big arc here, right? Medium term, we're above the 200, but where is the market headed? Medium term, it's headed right here to the 200. It'll move away, it'll come back, move away, come back. So 800 and 200 again are short and medium term movements. This little guy right here, this aqua one, is the 50 EMA. This is the one I use for trend and to trade. So let's do this. If you're above the 800, you're above the 200. Well, let's do this. If you're above the 800, long term, it's a uptrend. If you're above the 200, medium term, it's an uptrend. Now, if you're above the 50 right here, short term, it is an uptrend, okay? So we're 3 layers in of an uptrend, okay? So what we do is we wait for the market to move and pull back to the 50. When it pulls back to the 50 and rejects off of the 50, which you can see it did here, zoom in here, which you can see it did here, we're going to use the 5 and the 13s for entries and exits, okay? So here's what we do. We move through the 800, we're in an uptrend. I don't care if you trade here. We move sideways, and then we hit the 50, okay? So with the EMAs, we don't trade horizontal EMAs. We only trade vertical EMAs. So here, our horizontal EMAs, we're staying out of this, okay? This is our red zone. This is a no trade zone. But here, where the EMAs are vertical, we are trading, okay? So the EMAs come through the 800, they're moving over into a no trade area, but the yellow and the red are our entries and exits. And here's what I want to show you. Here, the yellow crosses through the red, the 5 crosses through the 13 above the 50, and we get our entry. You see the yellow and the red, the 5 and the 13 are separated. Here they go horizontal, and here they cross. The yellow crosses back to the red, and we exit the trade. We stay out of the trade as long as the yellow is under the red. When the yellow 5 crosses back through the red 13, we re-enter the trade because we rejected off of the 50, and we stay in the trade till the yellow and red go horizontal or until they cross back through. So we could have technically exited here, but we're definitely exiting here. While the yellow is under the red, it's a short-term downtrend. We reject off the 50, the yellow crosses back through the red, and the game is back on. You see the yellow stays on top of the red. We stay in the trade, staying in the trade, staying in the trade, staying in the trade, staying in the trade, loop. The yellow goes through the red, we're out. If you wanted to do a short-term trade here, you could. Again, we're rejecting off the 50, rejecting off the 50. Yellow crosses through the red again. We can re-enter. We exit in horizontal movements. We do not take any sells when we're above the 50. So now we're back above the 50. Yellow crosses through the red. We're taking this trade again. And you trade like this all the way up, guys. You can trade back to the 800 if you want to. It's a little trickier in my opinion, but you can see how this works. I do not take any sells on the wrong side of the 800. I try to trade where everything is moving in the right direction. And what I mean is like taking this sell here on the bottom side of the 50, you can. That's trading back to the 800. But things move faster like that, but they're much more volatile like that. You can trade it, but it's dangerous. Excuse me. You can just make sure you're on the right side of the 50 when you trade, no matter what. If you're on top of the 50, it's a buy. If you're below the 50, it's a sell. It's a really, really accurate way to trade. Just drop down to the 5-minute chart. See what this looks like. As you can see, it's the same thing. The trends are much smaller, but we leave the 800. I want to say when the market gets to the 800, it rejects, okay? And it rejects hard, usually away from the 800. So here we made it to the 800. We rejected hard. We got above the 200, got above the 50. We're taking buys here above the 50. Let's zoom in here. Let's zoom in. Here we go. So we made it to the 800. We rejected off the 800. I am waiting till we get on the correct side of the 200 because the 200 is a rejection. Remember, is a potential rejection. So we got to make it through the 200. Here, we're above the 50, above the 800, above the 200, above the 50. This is a 3 levels deep of a buy. Take this trade, take this trade, take this trade. Once we go horizontal and cross through, I'm out of the trade, reject off the 50, get back into the trade. We cross, get out of the trade. This is a potential entry here. You'd have to check maybe 1 or 2 other indicators. Here's another good trade right here. And then of course, this is what we're looking for, the big boys here. This works the same way on a sell. Look at that big old buy. You can trade that 50 all the way up. It's a really powerful way to trade, guys. Very simple, very easy. So we're gonna do the same thing. Here we got to the 800. We rejected off the 800. So we're below the 800 for a sell, we're below the 200 for a sell, we're below the 50 for a sell. Okay, let's zoom in here. Let's see what we got. Here we go, rejected off the 800. So below 800 is a sell, below 200 is a sell, below the 50 is sell. It's 3 layers deep on a sell. Look at these very, very, very vertical EMAs. That's what we want. Yellow crosses through the red. We enter the trade. Yellow acts like it's going to cross through the red, but it doesn't. So we stay in the trade all the way down. Yellow crosses through the red. We're out of the trade. We're watching for yellow to cross back through the red. Technically, you could be trading all of this. I like very vertical EMAs though. See this horizontal stuff right here and how close these EMAs are together? To me, okay. Sorry guys, I keep losing my screen. It's pretty frustrating. So from here to here, the EMAs are very horizontal. I don't think that that's a good place to be trading. You want vertical EMAs. So let's make this guy, I would make this guy red, but just know right now, we're not getting in this. We want vertical trades, okay? Here we would get in, we would stay in until yellow crosses the red, we'd be out. The yellow and reds are very close together. I'm not entering this. I'm not taking a buy while we're under the 50. I'm not taking a buy here because we're below the 8 and the 2. We cross back under the 50. The yellow crosses to the red. I'm back in the trade. I'm out of the trade. I'm in the trade. Out of 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 the trade. In the trade. Okay. So this is how to trade with the EMAs: the 800, the 200, the 50, the 13, and the 5. I got lots of fun tips and tricks like this. This is just one way that I trade. I got a couple other things I throw in here: some market geometry, some price action, 1 or 2 other indicators that are really strong for me. Anyways, go to omodalton.com. If you have any questions about this, you can also go to Forex for Beginners. I'll put links to that in the description. I got another Forex group as well on Facebook. Definitely come and find me in the Forex Ninja Traders. You can find me in that group on Facebook as well. You can find me on TikTok. I'll put all that stuff in the links in the description. Listen, like and share this for me. Help me get the word out on these EMAs. I want to see you succeed, okay? So I don't want to do account management. I don't want to trade for you. I don't want you to pay me money. I just want to see you do good, okay? So if you want to trade, you want to do good at trading, look at my track record on my Facebook page, Forex for Beginners, and you'll see, or no, it's Forex Help Group. And you'll see my track record. You see how I trade, and we will get you in the green. Best of luck to you.